So this is a good little sequence for you runners out there. It's quite a short sequence, but it's a really effective one at stretching out your hips and legs after a run. So you can either use it post-run or you can use it on your rest days as a way to loosen up. So we're going to start on all fours, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to start with the back first with some cat-cow stretches. So we tuck the tailbone, we tuck the head under, and we gently encourage the back up towards the ceiling. And then when we next inhale, we start to tip the tailbone away, drop through the back and come down and into a cow stretch with the back lifting the head and tailbone. Now if you have any back issues at all, just stay in a more neutral position rather than dropping into a cow stretch. Tucking the tailbone on the out breath, tucking the head and pushing up, and then lowering back down on the in breath. So very much using your inhale to come into cow, and then exhaling, slowly pushing up into cat stretch. I'm going to do one more. And then from there, we're going to lower the back to neutral or rough neutral. We're going to walk the hands away so that we can lower our forehead towards the floor and give the upper back a little stretch. Okay, it gets quite tight as a runner. It gets a bit restricted where we've held themselves as upright as we can. So we want to make sure we try and stretch it out. You can walk the fingertips away as much as possible. Just avoid sinking your bottom towards your heels. Okay, take some nice big breaths, pushing the breath out behind you. And then releasing. Deepening that stretch across the back and shoulders. And we're going to slowly walk the hands back in. We're going to tuck the toes, push the weight back and send the bottom into the air. Now from here we want to try and keep the shoulders away from the ears, and we want to try and encourage the tailbone up towards the ceiling a little bit. And you can start to pedal through the feet. So pushing one heel at a time down towards the floor. Try not to end up in this rounded position. You won't get the same stretch through your hamstrings. So lift the tailbone, much like we just did in that cat-cow stretch. Pressing the heels down, maybe finishing with both heels pressing down. If that's too tight for you, then you can just keep pedaling the feet. From there though, we're going to lift up onto the toes and we're going to step forward with the right foot. Okay, you can drop the back knee and then we're coming up to a high kneel position. Now I'm lucky I've got a windowsill here, but if you haven't, just grab a chair or something that you can hold on to. Okay, we want to have the front foot a little bit outside of the front lead hip, and we want to make sure that our hips are facing forwards. We're not hitching round and opening to the side, so keep them facing forwards. Okay, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, almost like we're doing a cat stretch now. So you push the tailbone under and then you rock the weight forwards, and you should feel that stretch down the front of this back leg. Okay, the important thing is not to let the tailbone push out the other way. Okay, so stretching out all the way down your quads and hip flexors. Holding on, like I say, to the side if you need to. You don't want to be worrying about your balance. You want to be focused on that stretch. So we keep the breath as even as possible. And then when you're ready, we're taking this arm straight up towards the ceiling. Okay, so reach it up and away, still keeping the tailbone tucked and pressing forwards. Reaching up. Breath even. We're going to take this arm over to the side. So reaching over, deepening that stretch down the side of the body. Like I say, keeping a nice even breath. If you can't keep an even breath, just ease off the stretch slightly until you can find the breath. Coming all the way up. Coming down to frame that foot and then just sliding that one back. Just rocking the hips from side to side, loosening before we do the same again on the other side. So tucking the toes, pushing the weight back into the heels, sending the bottom up towards the ceiling, not hunching through the spine. Okay, keeping the shoulders down, tailbone up, pedaling through the feet again, so we're stretching calves and hamstrings. Another classic one to get tight as a runner. That's really helpful. Hi. Okay, like I say, finishing with both heels pressing down if you can, holding as long as you can keep the breath again, whichever depth of stretch works best for you, but if you feel like you're holding your breath against it, then just ease off slightly. This time coming up onto the toes, and we're going to take the left foot forwards. It's not helpful. Coming down with that back knee. Again, you want this front foot just a little bit outside of the hip, but you do want the hip bones facing front, okay? From there, we're going to just tuck the tailbone and push the weight forwards. So you're now going to stretch across the front of that right hip. Now, if you've got a chair, you need to move it around to your left side. I'm going to let go of the right hand side holding this windowsill, and we're going to take the right hand up towards the ceiling. So we reach the hand up, keeping that tailbone tucked, keeping the weight forwards, keeping the breath even. Now we're taking that right hand over, stretching out down the right hand side of the body. So ease off the stretch if you lose the breath, and remember just to check that you're not starting to push your tailbone out behind you. Keep the tailbone tucked underneath. Holding that until you feel the leg starts to release, the muscle starts to release, it's not so gripping so much, and then coming back up, bringing the hands down, sliding the leg back, just loosening out through the hips again. And then we're doing one more cat-cow, one more downward dog, sorry, to finish. So tucking the toes, sending the legs back, sending the bottom up towards the ceiling, either pedaling through the feet or doing a static stretch, as long as you can feel that stretch down the back of the legs and you're breathing comfortably, shoulders away from the ears. And then you come up onto the toes, drop the knees down, we sit back onto the heels, and we're coming into our child pose or clam stretch. Arms down beside you, just curling round in a ball, just allowing the back to open up, allowing the stretch to go into the hips. And you can stay there as long as you feel comfortable, just allowing everything to open out. A nice restorative pose, so just settle your breath there, and you are done. Enjoy.